Hello and welcome to episode 169, Brett.
168.
Are we sure?
Yep.
168 of the Skippers Review podcast. My name is Dean.
My name is Brett.
My name is Sam.
First off, I don't want to make the same mistake that Brett made last episode. We have a new partner. It is Chinook Seedery. I have been eating these barbecue smokehouse seeds for the past 20 minutes, and I honestly feel like I am eating barbecue chips, and I keep swallowing the seeds. So I need to stop doing that because it's bad for you. But these are amazing. I think everyone has been getting them or is getting them, right? Brett, I have to send you yours. Nick, I can't remember if I sent you or not. Did you want any?
Yeah, I missed that. I missed that message.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you want them. And Sam, I have your box in my car. So everyone on the team has gotten it. I think they sent like 350 bags or 400 bags of this. So if you want, go into chinookseedery.com, use the code the Skippers View for a little deal there. So I will put that in the description of the podcast. We're on Twitter right now live, but I will put it on YouTube and the podcast itself. This is the first episode where most of us are here. This is the first time Nick's picks. This is your first Skippers View episode, correct? Yeah, so we're really excited about that. Nick, you've been kind of collabing with us for what?
I'd say
almost
about
a year now.
Yeah, about half a year.
7 months.
It was the end of last year, end of last baseball season, where I kind of,
Okay, so about half a year. Sam, year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half. It's actually it's crazy. This is like I started like around playoff time. I think my first ever piece was about like Evan Carter with you guys when he was on that tear in the 23 playoffs. So yeah, I mean coming up on a year and a half. But hey, look out for Nick's picks debut patch card. Skipper's View debut patch card that's coming out soon. It's a one of one, obviously. But that thing will be very sought after, I imagine.
Yes, we're excited to have Nick here. Brett, you've been kind of leading the podcast as we enter this during the off season, as we enter the season. So we're going to be doing a little different today. We're talking, being that we have Nick's picks here, we're talking MLB futures. So kind of like award predictions too for me. I'm not much of a bettor, but I had fun diving into this. So I mean, how do we want to do this? You guys want to like go around circle and Sam, you'll just kind of give us your thoughts. Brett, whatever picks you have. I have a list here with me, but Nick, why don't you're the expert.
What you want me to kick you off?
Why don't you start us off? Let's start small. Give me like a division winner.
Okay. Red Sox, American League East. So now I got that plus 700. Depending on what book you use, like I had MGM pulled up, but I had win totals pulled up, and my computer is being slow, so I'm using my phone. You have to give me a second. I think it was around 450 last time I checked. I would still take that. I think that's whatever the value is worth it. If it was even odds, I probably would consider taking it too.
Was this a pre-Bregman bet, or was this a post-Bregman bet?
I guess I should preface this with some of the values on my bets. Is I have a chalkboard channel. It's like a Discord for sports, essentially. And I have a private channel where I post all my futures bets, and I've been posting them since December. And I actually got this one. This was the first bet I made this offseason. So it was before the Crochet trade. It was before pretty much anything. So the Red Sox were down to 5-1 about 2 weeks after I made this bet.
Wow. And
okay,
what made you so hot? Like what, obviously they were expected to make a lot of winter moves and Breslow and Sam Kennedy and John Henry and all them, we're pretty vocal about, pushing the chips in. What really made you kind of want to throw this bet out there, though? Obviously, pre-Crochet, pre-Bregman, there was still a lot of talks that maybe they weren't going to make a splash, and maybe they were kind of just talking about it. They've been kind of interest kings in the past. So was the state of the team, last year? Just kind of run me through what made you place
Yeah.
that bet.
So
Obviously, you're a Red Sox
to
fan.
preface that too, there is bias, but as I was saying to you guys before we started recording, I've been pretty down on the Red Sox the last 4 or 5 years. But the Alex Cora extension is kind of what started the gears turning. I mean, Alex Cora, pretty much everybody in Red Sox land, there was an assumption that Cora would be gone, and then he kind of surprisingly signed an extension. And then Andrew Bailey's work with the pitching staff, doing what he did, especially with Houck. I kind of thought Houck was a lost cause before this year. But a lot of the things that he changed about our pitching staff, the analytics department, I think they hired Kyle Bland as well, and things like that. And I knew that they had money to spend, and I knew that Cora would not have stuck around and signed that extension unless he was promised something as far as competitiveness goes, because he's a gamer. And Cora turned that roster last year into a presentable team where they were in the wild card mix until they weren't, So
Yeah, I was going through my my series reviews. I was applying for the BBWA membership, and I had to send some blogs. So I wanted to send like a history blog, a MLB coverage blog, and like a team coverage blog. So I do like the Red Sox series reviews. I was like saying Red Sox World Series like into August. So I feel like just the off season kind of feels so long that we forget that the team was very solid for the majority of the year, and fun to watch for the majority of the year. And right now, like we said it before the episode, like they got me by the balls right now. I didn't see how they did today. Did anyone see how they did today? They played at 105. Sam, pull it up for me, Sam.
They won. They beat the Pirates 12-4.
How did Priester pitch?
I want to say he looked good. I saw a little bit on Twitter.
Okay.
I know Pitching Ninja threw a tweet of him out there, and that means someone's good. Looking at the box score right now, it looks like he went 2 2/3, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So it's a pretty good day for Quinn.
So if you have Houck, you have Crawford, you have Giolito coming up pitching on Thursday, you have Crochet, you have Bueller, you have Whitlock in the bullpen. He's supposed to be back. He's going to be back by opening day. You have Chapman, you have Hendricks. I mean, finally this team kind of the pitching led by Bailey feels like it's something that you feel comfortable them going into the playoffs and actually playing like a 5-game series early on. My bets are now. I just took the odds now. Like these are the ones that I'm going to place. So I have the Red Sox plus 425 for the AL East because I still feel comfortable with that. The Yankees are like plus 115 still. Who do they have? Who do they even have left at this point? Isn't you, Brett, this week you can jump in. Isn't Luis Hill out for like 7 weeks? And
yes,
John Carlos Stanton doesn't have arms anymore. Like how is this line not changed? I don't get that.
So I don't know what's going on in terms of Stan. I feel like it's not a long-term injury, but it's going to be lingering as always. Like he's going to miss his games. So I don't think that's really affecting the line. That's like probably been in Vegas's head all offseason. LeMahieu, John Boy was talking about this. They're thinking about possibly the idea, or at least it was brought up, of LeMahieu possibly getting cut and they move on from him before the season even starts. They would shed some money. I don't know if they would promote internally or not, or how they go about it, but that was a discussion. They're also Clark Schmidt's a little banged up, and now Luis Hill, that's a big hit. You still sign Fried, you still have Carlos Rodon, you still have Garrett Cole. You got 3 really, really good pitchers, and then Mark Stroman. The Yankees are going to hate to make him a starter after everything that's gone on this offseason. But Stroman's going to be the 4th starter, and he's not a bad 4. And it depends when Schmidt comes back. So I think with him, you add Bellinger, you add Goldschmidt, you have Aaron Judge. Like, I think they're going to be fine. And Austin Wells, who was 3rd runner-up for Rookie of the Year last year.
You just like listed, yeah, okay. I mean,
I'm saying like I think they've addressed a lot of problems. Obviously, they lost Soto. They also just got Devin Williams. Like Weaver's now their setup guy. He doesn't have to close, and you have one of the best closers in all of baseball.
I saw that Williams had a really good day. I saw Sam's tweet. Sam, if you want to jump in there, I feel like you're like.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, and it's obviously finishing over 500 is completely different than winning the AL East and a very competitive AL East. But the last time the Yankees finished under 500 in a season was 1992. I mean, this is a culture that knows how to win. They know what the 162 game grind is. Aaron Boone, I think, is a very underrated manager. I thought he managed very excellently last year. I actually had him on my hot seat last year, but he was very good. Again, like Brett said, they still have Aaron Judge in the middle of that lineup. I think what Matt Blake's done with the pitching is awesome. I think you can kind of bank on them having maybe another reliever or two have a nice little breakout season. I think there's lots of promise for this Yankees team. I actually think the Yankees have a higher ceiling than they did last year. I think the ceiling on this ball club is a lot higher. If you get guys like Goldschmidt and Bellinger having really good seasons, that lineup is a lot more dangerous than it was last year with, say, Anthony Rizzo and Verdugo, who are still free agents right now for reasons, right? Those guys
Yes,
were
very
not
much.
good last year, and they were getting trotted out there in Boone's lineup every single day. So this Yankees team has a higher ceiling. It also has a lower floor, in my opinion, too, though. There's more room for them to be a bad ball club, and there's more room for them to not win the AL East, to not even sniff it, actually. But I think that, they're definitely an over 500 team, and I think that's kind of why that line is where it's at, is because, historically, they're the Yankees. They're still the New York Yankees, and they're going to be an above average Major League Baseball team every single season.
I really want to talk about Rafael Devers right now. All right. Do you have any other division? I have one that I picked. I don't know if you have any others, Nick.
I have a couple that were value plays. I'll just throw them out there real quick, but they're not heavy investments by any means. I do have the Royals AL Central plus 400 as a quarter unit. I just think that's just a bad line.
That's what I had.
I do think that any team is one injury away from being bad, but I do think if something happens to Witt, like even if he has one IL stint, I think it could just knock them out completely. That's how important he is. I think he's the most important player in baseball to a team. And then this was a bet I placed a while back. It's not going to happen. But I got the Pirates, the NL Central 12-1. It was just it was a tenth of a unit. It's just a stupid line on the Pirates. This was beginning of the offseason. I was hoping they'd sign a bat. So I would throw that play out the window. It's kind of a donation of mine.
Okay, I have the Royals right now. It's plus 300, and that was the one that I was gonna hit.
Yeah.
I just like the Royals. Go, Brett.
So both you guys think the Royals are going to take the AL Central this season?
I don't have any strong convictions about it. My logic is like the Twins were 2-1. I actually think the Twins.
I hate the Twins.
I actually think the Twins
We
are
all
really
hate the Twins,
being hated
dude.
on a ton just because their owners suck. But I think their pitching and pen is really good, and their lineup is about as good as every other lineup in the Central. But yeah, sorry, I just forget that they exist. Now the Royals, the odds were just much longer on them, and I think if there's a wide open race, I'm always going to take the team with the best value from a better standpoint.
Do you know where the Tigers' value was in that? Because
they're all right there. It's like
Okay.
I think Twins are like plus 200. I think it's like plus 280, plus 300 is Tigers, and then Royals. They're all right there.
The Twins have the best odds to take the Central, or is it the Guardians?
Yeah.
All of the projections have them there too. It's like the only people who are hating on the Twins
it's all of them
are
right
people
next to
who
each other.
know baseball, but all of the analytics, odds makers, and everything like that, they all have been kind of tooting the Twins' horn all off season. And if you remember the Twins, sorry, I keep interrupting you, Brett.
Do you think
that?
No. I was going to say, do you guys think Vegas knows that like Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis are going to stay healthy all season or something like that? Like
they
something
never
we
will.
don't
I think
know.
it's pretty easy to remember, but the Twins were leading that division. They were a lock for the playoffs until they collapsed. I got them 4-1 to miss the playoffs at the All-Star break. I mean, they were heavy favorites to be in the playoffs last year, and the bottom just fell out from under them. Like they made no moves at the deadline, which everybody knew was the case. But
it totally seemed like a team that was just struck from zero deadline momentum. right? This is a team that was close to the playoffs, and Rocco Baldo is a really good manager too. So I was a little bit surprised that he kind of let that happen, but I think it was a kind of a kick in the nuts for their entire clubhouse, that ownership. And you get it, they're trying to cut money, they're trying to cut payroll, whatever it is, but it definitely felt like a kick in the nuts for a bunch of those players down there in the clubhouse, I think. And it kind of sent them on this downward spiral, like you said, Nick. And with that being said, they do have a really good rotation, I think. And I think there is some logic with them, having these odds to win the Central. A few years ago, they hosted a playoff series, and they won a playoff series against the Blue Jays when they hosted too. Their bullpen's really good. Johan Duran, Griffin Jacks, really good 1-2 punch in the pen. Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober. I feel like you're kind of going to know what you get with those guys. And I think there is stuff to like with the Twins when it comes to staying healthy. But like you guys said too, real baseball fans are going to look at this lineup and how many games together are Correa, Buxton, and Royce Lewis going to play. I think there's some sort of stat out there I actually saw today where it's like maybe I think the amount of games that they could have played together, they only ended up playing like 9% of those games or something wild like that. So it's definitely a super interesting division, I think. I think it's the most intriguing division of baseball in my eyes every single year, to be honest. I mean, I was on a podcast with Will Massa, Overdue Sports, last winter, and we were kind of talking about, this division seems like everyone wants to lose this division. No one really wants to win it when it comes to spending. And I get it, it's a bunch of small market teams, but here, lo and behold, you have like 4 teams that are above 500 at the end of 2024, kind of out of nowhere. So it's a super intriguing division.
I think the Tigers want to win it the most, as far as ownership goes, front office moves.
I agree. They are my pick. I mean, I make division picks. Obviously, I can't go out here and say I bet on baseball with my NCAA regulations and stuff. But I mean, for shits and gigs, for fun, I pick division winners, and right now my AL Central pending to change because opening day hasn't started yet. But I have Tigers at 1, Guardians at 2, Royals at 3, Twins at 4, and White Sox at 5. But I really think that if there's a team that's kind of close, and I think it's going to be close around the deadline, the Tigers are, like you said, probably going to be most likely to make
the
White Sox
splash
too high
at the deadline. Yeah.
So I had the Royals. We're very not NL. I have NL award picks, but I don't have anything NL. I mean, I have the National League winner. I guess we'll get to that. Why don't we do?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have player futures or award futures?
So okay,
you do you, I do me.
I'll
then
go
we'll throw it
ahead.
to them.
I guess I'll start American League MVP. I clicked this pretty early on too, but this one's back around 30-1 now. But it's Julio Rodriguez. I got him 46-1 on FanDuel when it came out. I actually texted all of my friends and told them, I said, go bet this now because this line's going to move. And it actually didn't move for quite a while, which was surprising. But it's down to 30-1 now. I just think it's the best value on the board. I think J-Rod's a superstar, and if he can just not be terrible in April, I think he can lead the race all season.
Okay. Brett, I just sense it coming off of you. Talk about Julio for a second.
Oh yeah, I think that I got punished by the fantasy baseball gods last year in the keeper league, where I have Julio Rodriguez and Corbin Carroll. I think both of them are going for MVPs this year. I'm all in on Julio going in for the MVP.
46-1.
What'd you get that line at, Nick? Yeah,
I'm gonna say 30.
The biggest issue with Julio though, he's on the Mariners. The Mariners, you got to be on a winning team, right? In baseball, at least it's factored in.
It's the ballpark to me.
They are a winning team.
I think, their ballpark is not friendly to them. I think the lineup didn't really increase that much. I don't know if Randy Arozarena is going to come around. My point being, like, the pitching was top of the league last year, and they still failed to make the playoffs. Like, I just don't see a team. I don't know. In this day and age, when you got guys like Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt Jr. in the American League, and you also, who knows if Rafael Devers has like a massive year, or Gunnar Henderson pops off.
I don't
again.
think Devers will
Devers
win it.
won't win MVP.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying. Like Corey Seager, he could have a massive year. Like Wyatt Langford, if he
I got him
injures, if
too.
he heals up very quickly. I
Let
know
me
he's
hit you
dealing
with
with some
someone
issues.
even. Let me hit you with someone even better, real quick.
Yep.
Mike Trout plus
Yeah, I have a bet
2,000.
on that too. It's not public. I haven't posted it, but
If he, because everyone loves a comeback story. If Mike Trout has again, if Mike Trout just plays how Mike Trout plays when he's healthy, like right now, Julio Rodriguez, I know spring training doesn't matter, even though I feel like every time someone has a great pitch that the angle of their arm is at the right degree, half of the Skipper's View team is like drooling. But spring training doesn't matter. But if it did, Julio Rodriguez is batting like 100 right now. Okay. Mike Trout has only had like 8 at bats, but he's batting, I think, 350 with like a home run, like 3 RBIs. If Mike Trout has a good season, I can see him just winning based on people wanting Mike Trout to win another award because they just miss him so much. That's my logic.
For guys, it's very different. The path that J-Rod could take to an MVP than Trout. They're both very different. It's all about staying healthy for Trout. Trout has never shown us a bad product of himself. He's just never really on the field. Whenever he's on the field, he is at MVP level. He still is. You look at his stats from last year, the year before, sure, he's probably only played like a combined like 60, 80 games, if that, over the last 2 seasons. But like his WRC plus is like around 200, I'm pretty sure, like over those 2 years. Like he is still a very good player. It's all about the health for him. And, going back to Nick's point for J-Rod, this guy's really good in the second half. And, he has to have a quick start. And so does Corbin Carroll, too. If you want Corbin Carroll to win MVP, he has to have a quick start. Both of those guys figured it out in the second half, and I think it's really encouraging to show us as baseball fans, as sports bettors, that, these guys know how to make adjustments. And I think last year was a couple of really big tests for both of those guys. I don't really have an AL MVP pick right now. I have a huge crush on Corbin Carroll, though. So, I've sprinkled in a little tweet here and there about Carroll, and I think Carroll is probably my pick to win NL MVP. Obviously, I could say Shohei, but where's the fun in that, right? You kind of want some sort of fun pick to land, and I think Corbin Carroll, last year he showed in the second half, to me at least, that he could be the best player in the National League, and I really believe that, and he's off to a terrific start in spring training too. Again, spring training doesn't matter, but I don't think Corbin Carroll was fully healthy in the first half last year. I think he had some sort of back injury or something was lingering, and he really got right, and he was able to show us that. And I think this is a really smart bet for you, Nick. 46-1 odds on Julio. You texted me right away, and you had me jump on it. And when you're not taking advantage of the book, but you're like you said, it's 30-1 now for a reason, right? The season's getting a little bit closer. More people are betting on baseball. No one's really looking at those lines. I'm not sure the exact
like
month
December.
that you bet Julio, 46-1, but December, you said, yeah. I mean, there you go. Like you got to hop on it early, and I think if there's one thing that I've learned about you, Nick, over the past few years, getting to know you, is that you are always scouting those lines. You're hunting for those lines super early and often, and I think that's how you've become a really successful in this business, at least.
I think too. Sorry, I wanted to just say this about some of my bets that I'll go over here soon. Is a lot of what I do is just following the value. I mean, do I think Bobby Witt would win the American League MVP? It's like, yeah, for sure, but he's 5-1 or something like that. To me, I'm not going to sit on a long shot award like that if the payout's not going to be something worth my while. So I typically let the value dictate where I go with some of these players. Oh yeah, sorry.
No comment on
there
Mike
was
Trout.
a lot between there.
Sam, you don't like Mike
I
Trout?
think
No.
I did
Just
want
Sam
to
doesn't like
comment on
Mike
Trout,
Trout.
though.
It's okay.
No, I love Mike Trout. I think Mike Trout still has the potential to be the best player in the American League. Absolutely. I just I don't know if I would bet on Mike Trout because I don't think he's able to stay healthy through a 162. I really don't. I think the way the Angels play him, He's in that. They're going to throw him in that lineup, hitting third and center field.
Okay.
I get right field now. I don't think it really matters with him. I think he's got a lot of these underlying health issues, and it's really a shame. But I love Mike Trout. I don't want that to get any sort of twisted. But I think betting wise, I would probably stay away from him.
Listen, Sam, I know you're a little bit younger than Dean and I, but Mike Trout happens to be probably the best player of our generation. So why don't you?
He's not that much. He's not that much younger.
He is. Mike Trout is one of the greatest baseball talents of all time. I'm not denying that. I think nobody wants 162 games of Mike Trout more than me. And I think if he plays 130 games this year, he could win MVP in 130 games.
I think you're not allowed to be a baseball fan if you don't have a Mike Trout MVP ticket.
Agreed. Now, I think my AL side, we'll stick with the AL.
I do, yeah. I wanted to go on Brett's
no?
point about Wyatt Langford. This one's just kind of laughable. It's just an example of when you shop early and when you shop online. I have Wyatt Langford 150 to 1 AL MVP. He's like 40 to 1 now. That one was on Bovada. That one, I do love Wyatt Langford. I'm sketched out by his oblique though. But you wanted to go to Cy Young. Now I'm gonna.
Well, I'm just like baffled by how early you do these.
The off season is. It sounds un-baseball fan of me, but the off season is actually my favorite time of year. Just because during the season, every night, I'm looking at lines, handicapping games, and I'm doing that while I watch baseball. So it's just like baseball's being shoved in my face all the time. I never get a break from it. So during the off season, I kind of get to decompress. I get to watch some Dominican baseball, and I get to shop these lines at my own pace, do my fantasy stuff. It's almost like solace during the off season. So I just enjoy it. It's definitely my favorite time, which sounds bad, but
no, I'm not going to argue with that. I disagree, but I'm not going to argue with it. All right, so AL Cy Young. Why don't you know what? Let me go first, just because I'm afraid that I'm going to have yours. I'm looking at the lines. I'm looking at, like you just said, value, right? So it's like, again, I'm a rook here in betting and futures. But like, you're not going to take Tariq Skubal, obviously. I'm looking at Logan Gilbert because he led the league in WHIP, right? If you look at his stats compared to Skubal, obviously Skubal had a much better season, but I think they were 8 Ks apart. Same amount of walks, same walk percentage. ERA was significantly different, which led to the ERA plus being significantly different. But there's a lot of categories that they were pretty similar. Ks per 9, walks per 9, like I said, home runs per 9. Gilbert gave up a few more home runs, 1.1 home runs per 9 to Skubal's 0.7. But he's at 12. What do I have it? I think it's plus 1200. I'm going to double check that line. But we're
10 to 1, 12 to 1
is that
in
right?
that area for Gilbert.
Yes. Yeah, and we were just talking about how the Mariners are probably have the best pitching staff in baseball, or a top 3 pitching staff in baseball. I think we call kind of like agree with that. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can see him taking a jump, but I'm looking for like guys who led the league in something last year, and leading the league in WHIP kind of stands out to me. So if I'm taking someone right now, value wise, I like Gilbert at plus 1200.
No, it's not. I love Logan
Was that
Gilbert.
yours?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people post that, and I don't have any quarrels with it, if that's the right word. Quarrels. I don't know. Anyways, now this one's kind of going against what I usually do. And now I do have a DeGrom ticket, 20 to 1. It's not that. I actually wouldn't bet Jacob DeGrom at his line right now, especially news came out that he's going to be limited in the first half or the first bit of the season. And he's like 7 to 1 for Cy Young now. And it's too expensive for me. I got him 20 to 1 on MGM when it came out. So, but I'm going to go ahead and give out an even shorter one, which is kind of gross, but it's Garrett Crochet. So my Red Sox, I don't want to say homerism. Yeah, it seems
major
like
bias.
It. But this every year I kind of have a team that I invest in more so than any other team. Last year it was the Padres. I had a lot on the Padres win total, making the playoffs because they were pretty down odds wise coming off of the year prior. The year before that was actually the Marlins and the Rays. So in 2022 or 20, I don't remember. Whatever year the Marlins made the playoffs, pretty invested in the Marlins, the Braves that year, and the Rays. And last year it was the Padres, and the Royals. I was pretty big on the Royals last year. I had a 30-1 on them to win the division, which missed but almost hit. And then anyway, so it's the Red Sox this year to wrap it all back around. But I think Garrett Crochet can win the Triple Crown in the American League. He's got better strikeout stuff. I wrote this in a little blurb, but he's got better strikeout stuff than Paul Skeens. He, as far as percentage goes, he's got better extension than Paul Skeens. A lot of people are worried about Garrett Crochet getting injured, but I actually don't. I don't have any worry about. I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to finish that sentence. I don't necessarily feel the same way.
Shut up.
I actually feel like the injuries are behind him, and I'm a pretty big advocate for once you have Tommy John, there's kind of this honeymoon window where it's like 2 years, and I don't know if anybody's done any studies on this or not, but it seems like guys just have an increased velocity for 2 years and just a different comfort with themselves. Yeah, there you go. So I'm big on Crochet, but that one is plus 750. I got that on Bovada. So 7-1.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I think it's like plus 400 now or something like that, right?
That's gross.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I think that's what it is now. Just for like, that's one of the reasons I didn't pick that was I was like, ooh, that seems a little steep. Sam.
No,
sorry, Nick. Finish, and then I just want to pass to Sam.
No, you're good. I mean, just to chime in too about the Tommy John thing. You know, I play college baseball. I'm a pitcher. I'm around a lot of pitchers all day, and there's definitely some sort of window where, you know, post Tommy John, it's kind of like you said, velo wise, you know, everything feels good, and there's kind of this sense of a safety net, really, where you don't have to worry about this guy going down with an elbow injury anytime soon, just because, you know, they've had that injury and they've looked past it. I know a lot of scouts actually look for, you know, high school guys, college guys, to see if they've actually already gotten the surgery, just because you know, the likelihood of them getting it again decreases, at least for a few years. I'm not sure again if there's like an actual study that's been done. And then, yeah, you know, just to kind of sprinkle some Cy Young talk for AL wise, I was looking, obviously, you know, I can't place anything, but, you know, Brian Wu, Mariners Brian Wu really intrigues me at plus 3,500, 35-1, whatever you want to call it. I think that's some really good value, to be honest with you. This guy was super, super underrated this past season. Obviously, he was hurt for a little bit of the year. Just 25 years old, but, you know, you have to get a hit off of Brian Wu to get on base. He's not going to walk you. His walk rate was 2.8% last year. He's just not going to give up the free pass. I think, you know, obviously this Mariners rotation is really good, and it kind of seems like anyone, maybe not Luis Castillo, I think his time's kind of ran out. But, you know, any young arm in this Mariners rotation really has the opportunity to win a Cy Young. You know, he's going to be favored by this ballpark. He had a 2.89 ERA last year over 121 innings. His expected ERA was even lower. It was 2.72. That's top 94th percentile. Again, he's not going to strike out a ton of guys. He only, you know, K'd up 101 across 121.1 innings pitched. So, you know, he's going to have a really good ERA and stay healthy, obviously, if he has any shot at sniffing the Cy Young. But I think if we're talking about value plays in terms of what Nick's been preaching, and I think it's kind of worth looking at Brian Wu, you know, plus 3,500. You know, I mean, he's a very good pitcher, and he's only going to get better in my eyes.
Yeah, I like Brian Wu too. Hopefully he could stay healthy. That's a huge thing with Wu, the health side of things. For me in the American League, I just like looked at all the top dogs. Like obviously Tarek Skubal is nasty, but it's very hard to repeat Cy Youngs, right? Like how many pitchers repeat winning it? Garrett Crochet, I feel, is like the obvious answer. Like he's the big ace, got moved to the team with like the most, you know, outside of the Dodgers, I think the Red Sox did the most damage in the offseason this year. I just think it's going to be one of those weird years where like none of the big dogs, like Garrett Cole just had a great, Garrett Cole, I don't think is going to like go back to Cy Young form for this year. I think that Max Fried's in a new home. I like for the Yankees, at least the Red Sox, the Crochet, Walker Buehler. I settled on Tanner Houck. The odds on covers I'm seeing are plus 3,000. Last year, Houck, he was able to put up a 3.12 ERA through 178 and 2/3 innings. He's going to get added wins. The strikeout numbers are there. They're not, crochet numbers, but if you have the wins and you have a low ERA with a 1.14 whip, I think he had last year, Tanner Houck's a really good value bet at plus 3,000 to maybe take home a Cy Young.
My last.
I don't know.
I still think it's stretched out enough.
The last thing I was going to say about AL Cy Young to supplement my lack of value between Crochet and DeGrom, I got Bailey Ober 100-1. It's like 66-1 around there. I like that one a lot too.
I think if someone's got the ceiling on the Twins team, it's definitely Bailey Ober. I think Joe Ryan could and Pablo Lopez are probably the more likely picks, but I think Bailey Ober actually does have that ceiling. I can't really see Lopez or Ryan kind of getting over that hump. I think they're a high floor, low ceiling type guys, whereas Bailey Ober is he could be very, very good. Last thing I want to chime in here, just about Cy Youngs and kind of pitchers in general, and this is kind of a question for Nick specifically, maybe you too, Dean. For anyone, screw it. Three big pitchers are going to be free agents next year, right? Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez, and Zach Gallen. Which one of you guys do you think has, out of you guys, who do you think has the best chance to win the Cy Young in their respective league, and why?
Out of those guys or next year?
Out of those,
like this year?
Of those guys, yeah. And,
for this year,
you see pitchers step up on contract years all the time.
Sorry.
So
I like Framber a lot.
Nick, go.
I'm trying to get him a lot in some of my roto leagues too. But I don't think he has the top end to win the Cy Young. I don't know. I think strikeouts matter. I think there can be some flukiness with his ground ball stuff. But no, I think Cease. My issue with Cease is that he has to pitch against the Dodgers a few times a year. He'll have to pitch against the Diamondbacks lineup a few times a year, and also have to pitch in Coors, unless he can avoid those starts. But those are tough. He was on my short list, Cease and Michael King, because he's also a free agent. Even though it's a mutual option, he'll end up being a free agent next year because those typically they never end up. So I have King on that list too, but that was the reason for me is Coors, D-backs lineup, Dodgers lineup, just horrifying. That could be 5 or 6 starts. So.
Did you say Gallen was the other one?
Yeah, Gallen is that third guy.
I only Gallen. I have to. I hate to sound boring, but I have to agree with Cease. I think Gallen. I mean, he had close to like a 4 ERA last year.
Yeah, which I think he'll be good this year, but not Cy Young.
I'll double check that.
I think he will be too. But everything Nick just laid out kind of applies to the Diamondbacks as well, right? So I would go Cease over. The problem with all those guys is, with the exception of Framber, I don't think Framber would get traded.
Yeah.
I think Framber would stay with the Astros. I think Cease has a real chance of getting traded. If the Padres aren't doing well, I think the Padres are more
you're
likely
correct.
Am I wrong with that? Like, I feel like if he's going to get traded, he's kind of like his shot at winning a Cy Young kind of goes out the window if he gets traded to the other league. So I would then go Framber just because I don't think he's going to get traded. But I don't think he's going to have the best year. I think Cease will have the best year.
Cease, actually. I think Framber's getting kind of forgotten about this offseason.
Framber's going to make a lot of money. I think he's going to make a ton of money. His curveball is one of the best pitchers in baseball.
No.
Do you think he stays? We're going to get off topic here, but
I don't think so. I think if anything, he stays in the state of Texas, but he pitches for that other Texas team, the
I can see
Rangers.
Gallen staying with the Diamondbacks, but I just don't know if they have.
I don't think he's going to stay with the Diamondbacks. Actually, I think them moving on Corbin Burns makes me think that he's more kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, at least organizationally. That's kind of how they think of him, and they're like, oh, we're going to lose Gallen. We kind of just got our Gallen, so we'll have 1 year of Burns and Gallen, but we're not.
And Jordan Montgomery.
We already paid Corbin.
And Jordan Montgomery.
Don't forget about the mighty Jordan Montgomery.
Let's move on.
I'll never forgive myself for wanting the Red Sox to sign Jordan Montgomery.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up because I was on an island saying I don't want Jordan Montgomery to be signed. I was getting just eviscerated by people. That loser,
Justin?
what's that guy's name that hates me? Yeah, him, that guy was going after. Everyone was going after me about Jordan Montgomery. Whatever, I was right. Same thing with Tristan. How
Hey.
Tristan Casas
Spring
doing
training
right now
doesn't
in spring
matter.
training? Whatever. And
The best
spring training doesn't matter.
the best Dean Twitter beef is still the Blue Jays guy of the video of him in the car.
Oh my God,
like
yeah.
Johnny Guillotin or whatever it
Another
was.
guy, yeah, that was bad.
Awesome.
Or Jason Veritek's wife. All right, NL Cy Young, and I'm gonna go first again because I just want to see if I have anything that Nick has. This kind of just it's one because I watched him on TV the other day, but it kind of goes with like your guys coming off Tommy John theory. You know who I'm gonna say?
No, I don't know who you're gonna say.
Are you asking me?
If you want to give me a second.
No, I'm asking Nick if he
If you
knows
want
what
to
I'm gonna
pause for a
say.
second.
Are you going to say Sandy Alcantara?
Well, he's gonna get traded though.
I am gonna say Sandy Alcantara. I know, so that's the only
He-
caveat. It's gonna take a haul to
I don't
get him
think the
because he's got like
Marlins
3
care,
years of
dude.
control, right? I'm gonna stick with it. Fuck you. I think he was at like plus 2100, plus 2500, something like that. So just looking through the line after watching the other day and just thinking back to 2021, I believe, when he just was by far the best pitcher in baseball. I had him on fantasy. He was throwing complete games, what felt like every other start. So for NL Cy Young, whatever, he could be traded within the National League. I'm gonna go Sandy
I think I'm
Alcantara.
gonna take this time to
Pass it off
plug
to you.
2021. I had Justin Verlander to win the American League Cy Young and Sandy Alcantara to win the National League Cy Young. That was like the best year of my life, though. I have
boy.
not replicated it since. But
That was one of my first impressions of you on Twitter because I think you were like posting that winning ticket or something. By the
seriously
And, like,
though, I
5
was
people
so
saw it.
upset.
I was like, oh
you
my
see all these
God,
people
this
that post
guy's
these stupid
guy's
parlays
insane.
that hit. They get 5 million views, and there was somebody who's like, "Oh, I bet Verlander and Alcantara," and they got it in July, like 2-1 each. I'm like, "Yo, I posted this months ago." Yeah. So,
I did this
anyways,
2
that's
years
besides
ago.
the point. Now, anyways, so I actually don't feel that strongly about my National League Cy Young bets. Yeah, go ahead.
I can go if you want to. I'm looking at covers. I saw two guys I really like, same odds, plus 2,200, both Michael King and Spencer Strider. But I really like Michael King because I think he's going to stay the entire year with the Padres. He just signed the extension. Michael King is disgusting. And the Padres just arguably have to make the playoffs in order for him to be taken seriously as a Cy Young candidate. He won't have the numbers of like some of the other guys up there, such as a Blake Snell or a Paul Skeens, even a Chris Sale if he stays healthy all year. But I think Michael King's a great pick. And depending on when Spencer Strider comes back, if he's back sooner, I would take him in a heartbeat. I think Strider is one of the best pitchers in the
Strider
league. He's one of the best pitchers in the
2-1
world
last year to win the Cy Young.
Yeah, and now he's plus 2,200. And the Braves the other day were reporting that they think he's going to return sooner rather than later. I might actually look into that and take a.
Are we worried
flyer
about
on
another like
Strider.
pitchers going down in the first month again? Like
Kinda
last
don't
year, I
wanna
feel like
talk
it was like
about
an
it.
epidemic and we were all freaking out. Yeah, me either. All right, give us your
Okay. My
unconfident
unconfident picks
picks.
for National League Cy Young are Hunter Green, 30-1. Got that on Bovada. Now he actually
I like
opened.
that.
He opened at
I like that.
10-1, and I laughed. I was like, "There's no way he stays. Nobody's betting him at 10-1." He ended up moving. I saw Bovada put out a 30-1. I was like, "Okay, now I'll bite." My concerns. I mean, his ERAs before this season were like in the fours. He didn't really make any tangible changes to his arsenal. He kind of was very fortunate last year. He pitches in Great American Ballpark. So all those cases are against him. I just like the 30-1, and he was a top 3 or 4. I guess 4, because he ended up getting hurt. I don't know if it was his flexor tendon or something, but some elbow inflammation. Anyways, my other one is Spencer Schwellenbach at 40-1. That was on DraftKings. Probably my only DraftKings future. That book Stinks. Don't bet on there. But
Okay.
sorry.
We're never going to get them as sponsors.
Okay.
No, I'm agreeing.
Now,
I
but
don't like
Schwellenbach,
them then.
yeah, his Arsenal's stupid, and I really like him. If either of those two will win it, I think it could be Schwellenbach.
I like the green pick, and I'm going to pass it off to Sam before we go to World Series picks because I feel like Sam likes Hunter Green. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to kind of talk about them both. Obviously, Green he's pitching a Great American Ballpark, so that's obviously a bit of a downside. But the strikeout stuff is so elite, and he was on such a good. Did he get a serious injury last year? Was that the year something? I feel like there's always something with Hunter Green's health.
He led National League in WAR last year for pitchers.
Did he? Okay,
yeah.
That's what it was. I mean, he's an absolute stud. Like Great American Ballpark does not really affect him. Anyways, I love the Schwellenbach pick though. Been talking to Brad about it. Been talking to Ben Weaver about it, and it seems like I post this morning on Twitter. Comment a bold prediction for the season, and it seems like all of Braves Twitter kind of took Schwellenbach and ran with it. So I think he really does have the potential to be the best, most complete starter on the Braves this year, which is pretty insane considering Chris Sale won the Triple Crown last year. Spencer Strider will be back at some point. Reynaldo Lopez was fantastic. But, here's what I wanted to say about the NL Cy Young, and this goes to show, what I know is I tweet about Yoshinobu Yamamoto being this dark horse NL Cy Young, thinking that, he's got a really good shot to make it. He was really good last year before he went down. He only threw like 90 innings last year, but he had like a 3.0 ERA flat. And obviously the stuff play is insane, but, I'm not even thinking about how many starts this guy's going to get. I'm not thinking about how many pitchers the Dodgers have in their rotation. So right now, if he's a 6-man rotation, he's not going to get as many starts as maybe a Hunter Green or maybe even a Spencer Schwellenbach too. So, this kind of goes to show what I know about the betting world, where, I see a play that might look good, but Dodgers, they have so many damn pitchers that they're probably going to use.
Yamamoto is 18-1, so it's not a terrible take. Like it's also not a dark horse. I'd consider him. I mean, he's like top 7 in odds or so. I think we also would be irresponsible to not talk about Paul Skeens. But the reason I'm talking about Paul Skeens is because you can't really bet on Paul Skeens to win the Cy Young. It's 2-1. I mean, you can do it. You're just going to be sitting on an award future with not a ton of payout unless you really, really heavily invest in it. So I just avoid awards futures that are that short in odds. But Paul Skeens, just like Shohei, rightfully so, is the favorite in that respective award.
Did anyone have show? Did people
I'm talking about
Shohei for
MVP.
Cy Young?
He's like
people betting him
almost even odds.
No, I know. I'm saying that people betting him for Cy Young now. Sorry, my mouth is full of Chinook seeds.
Ohtani
right
is 80-1.
I wouldn't. I was gonna say I wouldn't think so because it's like people are not really talking about it though. But hasn't Ohtani been kind of still dealing with injury in the arm a little bit, and it hasn't been really addressed by the media?
I wasn't sure if people were betting it or not. I just don't have that line in front of me. That's what I figured. All right. Do we want to move on to just?
I think
is there anything in
there's
particular
some
you
more
have?
kind of. I don't want to call them Easter egg awards, but silly ones. I have quite a bit actually. For wait, did we didn't talk about National League MVP, did we?
Oh no, we didn't actually. Wait, I have that. Okay. Yeah, we just jumped right to Cy Young.
Okay.
Let's do that National League MVP.
National League MVP. I really went light here because of Shohei Ohtani. I mean, but I found O'Neal Cruz 130-1 when he came out, which that was on DraftKings actually. That they did not leave that lineup for long. They would, but anyways, Caesars put out a 200-1 on O'Neal Cruz, which I did get that as well. But I typically stick with what I posted, just to be transparent there. And 131 for O'Neal Cruz. I think he fully arrives this season. I don't think he wins the award, but I think it's going to be a fun ticket to have. I have a tenth of a unit on it, and I think he can finish top 3 in that award for sure. I don't think that's like a terribly hot take.
Is
Yes.
is he in center this year?
I have
Do we
no
know how he's playing
idea.
in center this year? It's because spring training doesn't matter.
I think he'll pick it up. I think a lot of infielders heading to the outfield, I think it's generally a pretty good move. I mean, you saw with Tatis, obviously
Platinum
kind of an
glove.
extreme, but he was right up there in OAA with just about anyone when he got moved to the outfield. So I think O'Neal Cruz will be fine in center field.
I'm trying to look for like a cool one like that. I had Mookie Betts, so it's not that cool. Sam,
What's Corbin Carroll at right now?
I'm
He's-
seeing on covers
at-
he's plus 2,200.
yeah, he's at
I
plus
think,
3,500 on the other ones.
Ellie De La Cruz is interesting too. Some FanDuel put out a 30-1 on him the other day, and I did click that, but I didn't post that, so it's not a public play.
Do you think there's fatigue though with
Voters
Ohtani?
fatigue or voters fatigue? I don't think that matters. Yeah, no. I mean, if he's pitching, even if he's the closer, like say that he can't stretch out and he just becomes the Dodgers closer and hits 40 home runs, I don't think the voters' hands are going to be forced.
Talking about the NL MVP just seems like so pointless, just with Ohtani and I mean, it's
Ohtani
one
and
thing.
Soto.
Yeah,
Soto's never won an
Soto
MVP.
too, but he's never.
No, I know.
And Otani's kind of blocking him from it right now, which is an interesting conversation that we can have in other episodes for sure. Because I think if Juan Soto never wins an MVP throughout his career, that would be very shocking. But it's crazy. He only DHs last year, and he's proven that his bat alone is worth the most valuable player in the league. So what's he going to look like again when he starts pitching? So it's ridiculous.
That and the speed and dude, the NL MVP race. I feel I don't know why I love Bryce Harper this year. I think he's gonna mash. But
Yes.
I also think that about Tatis Jr. I also think that about
Kyle
Soto
Tucker,
and Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Kyle Tucker and Lindor. Lindor is the most disrespected perennial all-star there is. He gets shafted from all-star games all the time because people don't like him the first half or whatever it is. But the winning the NL MVP this year, let's not forget.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens can win an MVP. He's that good. So his odds I'm seeing on covers is right now plus 5,500 to win MVP. And we're not even mentioning, imagine Jackson Chourio takes that next step. Jackson Chourio batted almost 300 in the last 96 games last year. And he's going to be on a winning ball club with Milwaukee. So NL, this is a crapshoot for MVP. I'm just going to take, I really like, I know this isn't a sexy pick, but Bryce Harper at plus 1,400. I think Harper's just going to lead Philly back to, I think they have unfinished business, Philadelphia. And I think they didn't go out and trade for Jesus Luzardo for nothing. They added to the rotation. They're going to be a force to reckon with. Sorry, Jeb. Sorry, Ben Weaver. But it's going to the
I have to
NL
call a
East is going to be
timeout
a
real quick
gauntlet this year.
You guys showing all your love to Corbin Carroll. Somebody said 22-1. MGM has him 35-1 for NL MVP.
That's probably because he just had a setback injury wise with his back, and I bet you that they're factoring that in. But he said it shouldn't be an issue. He was pulled out of the game the other day. But no, that's a good. No, it's a good time to sneak in if it's 35-1.
I completely agree. I think if we're going to take away anything from this NL MVP conversation is the stardom that is in the National League is starkly different than the stardom in the American League. And I'm not saying that the American League doesn't have stars. It does. Aaron Judge, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr. Lots of very, very good players. But the National League seems this is the first time in a long time, at least since I've been covering baseball pretty religiously since 2021, that I've seen this vast of a difference when it comes to superstars in one league versus the other.
Yeah, I definitely think it's like a big brother little brother situation between the NL and AL. I definitely think the National League will win the World Series this year.
You know what's funny? The AL has won the All-Star
Yeah.
game every year since 2013, with the exception of 2023. Like, and those, I know it's just a one-game crapshoot, but it is like the stars coming out like to play some baseball, and the AL has won it every
The
year of the
All-Star
last
game this year
12,
was
except for one.
by far the best night of my season. I had the American League to win. I had the American League team total, and I had Jaron Duran MVP like 45-1. I
Durant.
had it on like 5 different books. I did a giveaway. I gave away some money. It was so much fun. I needed it bad. My regular season was going so poorly. So that kind of that gave me a little boost going in the second half, which ended up not mattering. My regular season bets weren't great, but my awards were pretty good. So, or my futures were really good.
What was the season where you were like up 50 units after the regular season?
Yeah, that was
Was that like
2021.
a couple years ago?
Yeah, and then 2022 was bad. I gave quite a bit of that back. Or no, yeah, 2022 was when I was up like 51 units, and 2023 I gave a lot of it back.
That's right.
The beginning of the year, we had our second kid, and I was trying to put as much bets as I did the year before, and I was kind of mentally checked out. It was a mess. And then last year, I kind of went in more level-headed, and I ended up finishing, it was like up 1 unit. So something silly like that. But the futures card was up 16 or so. My futures card is always really good, and that's why I'm selling it this year, which I work hard on it, so I think that's justifiable. I usually make fun of people.
You should. I was gonna say I feel like every year you throw out your futures card, it's like up like 20 units or something crazy like that.
I mean, people kind of pick
cool.
on guys that do sell bets and everything, and it's kind of a ridiculous concept. But I work really hard on my futures card and all throughout the winter, and I have 58 bets on it. So I think that it's valid for me. So, and I'm giving away a lot of them right now.
100%. I know this is some like insider access. I feel like.
Yeah, I know. I'm like writing everything down. I can't bet all these though. That's kind of the problem. You got these so early. So let's wrap up. What's your last, whether it be World Series, league winners? What's the last one or two you want to give out?
I don't have any World Series bets, and I typically don't. But my favorites, like I said, I was alluding to earlier, is my little Easter egg ones. But I have Manager of the Year. I have some. If anybody has access to Caesars, they have Silver Slugger and Gold Glove odds, which was pretty profitable for me last year. And then,
oh wow,
I'm pretty heavily invested in the Red Sox, so I have their over 83.5 that I got a long time ago. But I would take their 86.5 at 1 unit. But I have 3 units. So it's my max play of the year is Red Sox over 84.5 wins, as well as I have 3 units on the Red Sox to make the playoffs. So I have over 6 units combined on the Red Sox, which could be pretty catastrophic if that doesn't happen. But I don't worry about them missing the playoffs at all.
Spring training, so we're ways away. But
before we wrap up, Nick, what is just like a really fun bet that you're looking forward to kind of tracking this year? Maybe it's that O'Neal Cruz card that you had or ticket or whatever, but what is one bet that, might not be too likely to happen, but like you're just like super pumped to kind of follow?
This one's kind of silly. Goes on. And now I would still take it, whatever the odds are, but I got Bo Bichette to lead the major league in hits at 85-1 on Bovada. People kind of forget that Bo Bichette led the entire league in hits in 2021, 2022. Then 2023, he was top 5, I think. And last year, he was hurt all year. And it's like everybody forgot Bo Bichette exists. He's heading into a free agent season. And I got that 85-1. I just thought that was the stupidest price in the world. It's down to 30-1 now. So I'm gonna be a Bo Bichette guy all season long. So every time he gets a hit, I'm gonna see if there's live odds on that just to see how much value I get. That's probably the most fun bet I'll have following this year is Bo Bichette to lead the league in hits.
So it's so funny. I put out my top 10 shortstops for 2025 piece today. I
Took
purposely
you a
did
month,
not.
by the way, but
Yeah. I didn't. I purposely did not put Bichette in my honorable mentions or my top 10 because I was like, I was spiteful towards the Blue Jays, but I was like, Bo Bichette's really good. And I was like,
There
this,
are.
but there's a lot of good shortstops out there, and Bo Bichette's coming off an injury plagued year, so there were no results there. I stick with where I stand, but I think I could eat crow on that. So, Nick,
Yeah.
I do like that pick. That's a fun pick, and I think I'll pay attention to that now specifically because of this
Okay,
conversation.
I want to give. I know.
I'm
Dean's
trying to see
trying
what
to
the
wrap
odds are
up.
on it now. Or
But once I get
All right,
going with
go.
these things, all right, I'm gonna
No, give us
I'm
a
gonna
few
give
more.
out
Give us a few
my
more.
stupid
Then we
ones
gotta
real
go to
quick.
bed.
Now I probably shouldn't because, like I said, I do charge for these. I'll avoid manager of the years, but I'll give out my Silver Slugger and Gold Glovers. So these are fun. I won't even elaborate. I'll just give them. I got Brandon Lau, American League, second
Go.
base, Silver Slugger, 20-1 on Caesars. Yainer Diaz, catcher, Silver Slugger, 11-1 on Caesars. Wyatt Langford, outfield Silver Slugger, 9-1 on Caesars. These are all Caesars, so I'll stop saying that. This one I'm gonna scrap because it was Sean Murphy, 8-1. Jetta tier, real quick. Trevor Story, American League shortstop,
Yeah.
Gold Glove, 30-1. Garrett Mitchell, National League outfield Gold Glove, 40-1. This one was I was like, what? Adley, this is my favorite bet. All right, Adley Rutschman. What do you think? I want you to guess these odds. Adley Rutschman to win the American League catcher Gold Glove. What do you think those odds are at?
35.
He's never-
No, right
Oh,
now.
at now or
Or
would you
even
bet
what
it?
I bet it. No.
He's never won one, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because Cal
Raleigh's
Raleigh
2-1.
usually takes it. I was gonna guess maybe. Okay, I was gonna guess for Adley maybe
What do you guys
8-1 or 10-1, something like that.
Okay.
I said 35-1
I have
Just
no
just
clue.
based on like
Okay,
what you've
so
been bet,
that's
like
unfair. That's unfair, dude.
like value
no,
you've been betting.
Yeah. It's
I'm just-
25-1. And
use
I
my
was
brain,
like, my
go.
jaw dropped when I saw that. So I have
Okay.
2/10 of a unit on that. And this is the stupidest bet that is on my entire card. But I bet a pitcher Gold Glove prop, and it's Framber Valdez. That one's 50-1. I got a 10th of a unit on that. Now I actually handicapped this, which just shows you how much of a degenerate I am. But
Yeah.
all of the Gold Glove pitching award winners are all ground ball pitchers. And Framber, the way he graded out in fielding percentage was just below Seth Lugo last year, who won it. And I'm in on Framber this year. He's just a guy who pitches through injury too. So if he is banged up, I don't think he'll be on the IL. So he'll get the volume. He had, I think, two. Oh yeah,
Especially
so
in
he
a
had
contract
he had
year,
two
too.
less errors, I think, than Seth Lugo, but he had an IL stint. Framber did. So one's another pretty fun one that I'll be invested in this year.
That was a pretty degen comment
Yeah.
you made. The
I
ground
know.
ball.
I'm not proud of it, but if it hits, then does it really matter?
No, I mean it's genius. It's not something I would ever cross in my brain.
It's good info though. Like, how else do you think this guy keeps getting 1,000 views on his blogs every time he turns one out?
That is true. Yeah, I think Nick's like right there with me on like 1K blog. So
I've got two more.
that's,
I've got two more
that's
big
saying
ones.
something.
It's like that Vince Carter meme. I got one more in me. I'm gonna do sleeper pitchers
Two more
that I'm
big
putting
blogs
out
or two more
hopefully
big
soon.
picks.
And then I want to do like a whole
it's gonna
collective
bang.
of all of my rankings, as well as just putting some links, just kind of a home base for my off-season fantasy content. And then I thought about doing one
Okay.
as a home base for my bets as well, but we'll see.
Okay.
You are arousing Dean to the max right now.
I am. No, I first off clicks on the website, but also I'm gonna just follow Nick into whatever sunset or sunrise we go into.
One of my favorite regular season baseball traditions is truly waking up, seeing what Nick's card is, and then seeing how he did that night, and seeing like what sort of GIF he uses.
I think
Whether it's a good or bad day. That's like one of my favorite regular season traditions. I've been like paying attention to that for like the last
I
2 or 3
appreciate
years
that,
now.
Sam.
That's awesome.
Oh, you put the Garrett
What's
Crochet
that?
one out today. I didn't see that. You put a Garrett Crochet out.
Oh yeah, that was
today.
for
tweet.
the TGFBI or slow draft is going on right now, which I think I'm in the slowest league in the entire contest as far as drafting goes.
I'm excited for the
I am too.
Skippers View Fantasy League, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
I'm holding myself accountable this year. I have to complete it.
That league's kind of. There's 12 of us in there.
What do you mean you have to complete it?
Like I'm not great at following fantasy baseball. Like after a few months, like I'm holding.
We're putting money on it. We'll put money on it. We'll put money on it.
If you put money on it, I'm all in.
We will put money on it.
I think it's going to be sneaky competitive.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm used to like going up and like get people like Brett now, and that's okay. How you doing in the keeper league, Brett? All right, we're over an hour here, so this is gonna take me forever to download next sport. But Nick, I love having you here. We'll have you on before the season starts. Is there anything else you want to kind of plug or talk
probably
about?
Should have planned that a little bit at the end that I do, but no, it's just I have a chalkboard. It's an app. It's a pretty cool app. Now there are bets on there, but I actually don't have any money in that, so I don't do any other bets. But it's just kind of the home base for everything. I actually have links to my Skipper's View blogs there, my daily bets, my Dominican bets, my futures bets, which that one's a private channel, like I've said. Then my recaps. I recap everything, unlike a lot of handicappers. So when I lose money, you can see that too. But yeah.
I love that. This is like the first time I really like my brain's like exploding right now because it's just like I've never ever actually talked this much about betting. So I just don't want to get addicted.
Like, I love and hate that this is kind of my thing that I do, but because I know that some people are so strongly against betting, and it's kind of shoved down everybody's throats. Like Bally Sports is now FanDuel Sports Network, I believe. Every commercial and every sport you watch is bonus bets and things like that. So
I have issue.
I don't know. I don't want to put myself above all that, but
I like the way you do it way more than like I don't feel like it. One, I don't feel like it's being shoved in your face, and two, I feel like you're very transparent, and it's just like you're not doing it. I don't feel like you're doing it for. I like the people on Twitter who just scream and make all these graphics about their picks. I don't feel like they do any research or give any like not that they don't, but I feel like you give a lot of like reasoning with your picks, and I appreciate that. So
you're also, you know, you're not this guy who's gonna like try to make as much, like obviously you're gonna try to make as much money as possible, but like you're a baseball fan too. Like you're a sports bettor, but you are also a baseball fan, and you just know so much about the game that I think it's so valuable. You know, whether you're gonna win your bet or not, you're never not gonna watch baseball, never. So it comes with, you know, the enjoyment of watching the game, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No. All right. So again, Nick's MLB picks on X. You can follow him on his chalkboard. His link is there.
Bio,
is it in your bio?
I've actually messaged the guy who runs chalkboard a few times, but it takes you to the app, and it takes you to the app store. So you actually have to go you have to search boards, and you'll have to type in Nick's MLB picks. So I've had issues with that, but that's my only gripe.
Okay. All right. So just follow him, and you'll be able to get keep up to date with his picks. Anything else, guys?
I had a lot of fun.
I love this episode. We're back, baby. We're back. I'm gonna be broke. All right. Bye, Chinook Seeds. Bye.